The evening in Kawana village was usually peaceful, but that night the air carried a strange tremble. The sun had just slipped behind the horizon, leaving the sky painted in deep purples and burning oranges. The tall acacia trees swayed gently, and through their leaves came a sound, soft, delicate, almost like a hidden instrument playing inside the wind itself. A sound filled with both sadness and a distant kind of love. 12-year-old Zuri sat in the dusty courtyard, threading the colorful beads her mother had carved for her. She wasn't thinking about anything special, just the calm of the night, when suddenly a whisper brushed past her ear. Zuri. The voice was carried by the wind, yet it felt strangely human. She froze, her fingers still on the beads. Maybe it was her imagination, she thought. But then the whisper returned, clearer, closer. Zuri, can you hear me? Her heart didn't just beat, it stumbled. Yet instead of fear, an irresistible pull rose inside her. As if this voice wasn't just calling her, but reminding her. Who's there? Zuri whispered back. The wind answered, not with words, but with a faint drumbeat. A single distant thump. Zuri shot to her feet. Adrum. At this hour? No one in the village is playing. Just then, her grandmother Lauriega approached, leaning on her wooden staff. Her old eyes widened with a mix of awe and worry. What did you hear, child? She asked. Zuri hesitated. Whisper. Adrum. Lauriega closed her eyes, breathing deeply. Then in a low, trembling voice, she said, Zuri, what you heard is no ordinary sound. It is the lost drum of the wind. And if it has begun calling your name, your journey has already begun. The wind whispered once more, and this time Zuri didn't flinch. She knew this night was not ordinary. It was destiny's first knock. That night, the wind did not rest. It circled Kawana village like a restless spirit, brushing against huts, rattling leaves, whispering names only the bravest could hear. Inside their small mud brick home, Zuri sat in front of her grandmother Lauriega, her hands shaking slightly, though she tried to hide it. Grandmother placed a warm cup of herbal tea before her. Drink, she said softly. Your spirit needs strength for the truth. Zuri swallowed hard. Nanny, what is the lost drum of the wind? Lauriega looked into the fire. The flames flickered in her eyes like memories she had buried long ago. It is the oldest sound in this land, she began, her voice deep and steady. A drum forged by the four spirits, wind, earth, water, and light. When it plays, the world listens. Trees wake. Rivers change direction. Even shadows learn to walk. Zuri's breath caught. But why is it calling me? Lauriega hesitated. The silence felt heavy. Because your bloodline is tied to it. Long ago, your father. She stopped. For the first time, Zuri saw her grandmother's voice tremble. Your father was chosen by the drum. And then he vanished. Zuri blinked, stunned. My father? The drum took him. No. Lauriega whispered. He followed it. The drum only calls those who carry its echo in their hearts. And now, child, it calls you. The wind slipped through the doorway, swirling like a soft hand against Zuri's cheek. She didn't move. What does it want from me? She asked quietly. To be found, Lauriega replied. And to be awakened. For when the lost drum returns, Kiwana will face a storm greater than any before. A sudden thunder rumbled across the sky, though no clouds were there. Zuri looked up. Destiny had just opened its second door. By morning, the sky over Kiwana seemed strangely quiet. Too quiet for a village where birds usually filled the air with songs. Zuri stepped outside, feeling the cool earth beneath her feet. The wind was watching her. She could feel it like a presence standing just behind her shoulder. Tiemu, her best friend, came running toward her. His breathless grin faded when he saw her serious face. What happened? Your grandmother looked worried. Zuri hesitated, then whispered, The drum, it called me. Tamu frozen. The lost drum? The one that disappears people. Zuri nodded. Nanny says it's searching for me. Tiemu swallowed but didn't step back. That was the thing about him. Fear made him curious, not weak. Then we should follow it, he said quietly. Zuri stared at him. You'd come with me? Into the forest. Tamugrined. Where else would the adventure be? Minutes later, they stood at the edge of Ngama Forest, the oldest forest in the region. Its trees were thick and towering, their dark branches twisting like ancient fingers pointing toward the sky. As they entered, the air grew colder. The sunlight dimmed. The wind flowed around them, guiding them like an invisible thread. Zuri felt her heartbeat sinking with each soft thump she heard beneath the rustling leaves. Thump thump thump. The drumbeat was faint, but unmistakable. Suddenly, Tiemu grabbed her arm. Zuri, look. Up ahead, a massive tree stood in the middle of the path. Its trunk was carved with a symbol, an oval with 4 lines crossing it. Zuri touched it gently. It's the mark of the 4 spirits, she whispered. The drum's creators. Before Tiemu could respond, the ground beneath them shook. The trees began to sway violently, not from wind, but from something moving beneath the soil. The forest had awakened, and it was watching them. The trembling earth pushed Zuri and Tiemu back a step. Leaves shivered overhead, and a cold ripple shot through the roots beneath their feet. Zuri clutched Tiemu's hand, her voice barely a whisper. Tiemu, something is moving under the forest. Before he could answer, the shadows around them began to shift. Not darkness, shadows. They stretched across the ground like living ink, gathering, twisting, forming shapes that rose upright. Figures. Tall. Thin. Silent. Their bodies flickered like smoke caught between worlds. No faces, only hollow, glowing circles where eyes should have been. Tiemu's breath trembled. Zuri, please tell me they're not real. I don't know, she whispered. But they're here for a reason. The shadows began to move. Slowly at first, then faster. Dancing. Their steps matched the faint drumbeat echoing somewhere deeper in the forest. Thump thump the thumb. The rhythm grew stronger, shaking Zuri's chest. The shadows twirled in a perfect circle around them, arms stretching upward like branches reaching for the sun. Their dance was not threatening, It was ritualistic, ancient. One shadow stepped forward, its smoky arm extending toward Zuri. Tamu paniket. Don't touch it. But Zuri didn't feel fear, only recognition. Something in her heart pulsed in reply. She slowly reached out and placed her hand inside the shadow's palm. A shockwave burst around them. The shadows froze, then bowed. Tamu stared. Why are they bowing? Zuri swallowed hard. Because they know me. The shadow pointed deeper into the forest. Then, using its smoky fingers, it drew a glowing trail of light on the ground, leading forward. A path. Zuri's voice trembled with awe. They're guiding us. But just as they took their first step onto the glowing path, the forest roared. A warning. A promise. A challenge. The drumbeat thundered. The journey had truly begun. The glowing path led Zuri and Tiemu deeper into Ngama forest, where the air grew cooler and the trees older. The shadows no longer followed them, but Zuri felt their presence watching from the branches. Silent guardians waiting for her next step. The drumbeat faded into a soft hum beneath the earth, guiding them like a heartbeat they could not escape. After what felt like hours, the trees abruptly opened into a clearing. A river lay before them, but not like any river they had ever seen. Its water shimmered like liquid moonlight, glowing faintly blue. Instead of rippling with waves, it flowed like drifting memories. Soft images moving inside it. Faces, shapes, moments, as if the river carried stories instead of water. Tiemu whispered, Zuri, this isn't a river. Zuri nodded slowly. It's the river of spirits. Nanny told me about it once. It shows what the heart has lost. She knelt beside the glowing water. The river responded immediately, its light rising like mist, swirling into a shape right in front of her. A figure formed, blurry at first, then clearer. A man. Tall. Strong. Smiling. Zuri gasped. Father. Tamu froze. That's him. Zuri reached out trembling hands. But the image rippled away as if the river exhaled. Another vision replaced it. Her father walking through a storm of wind, chasing a floating drum that pulsed with light. Then, he vanished. Zuri's heart tightened. He followed the drum, just like Nanny said. The river glowed brighter, drawing a new image. A stone gate deep in the forest, carved with symbols of the four spirits. Tamuleanet gloser. The river is showing us where to go next. Zuri stood, her hands still shaking but her eyes filled with fire. Then we follow it. If the drum took my father, I'll find the place it led him. The wind swirled around her ankles, whispering approval. The path was clear. The river had spoken. The river of spirits faded behind them as Zuri and Tiemu followed the glowing trail left by the shadows. The air grew heavier, thick with mist and the scent of old stone. Every step felt like moving deeper into a forgotten world. Eventually, the path brought them to the base of a towering cliff. A wide opening yawned in the middle of the rocky wall, dark, silent, waiting. Tiemu took a step back. Zuri, that's a cave. A big cave. A cave that looks like it eats children. Zuri smirked faintly. Then don't act like a child. He rolled his eyes, but followed her inside. The moment they entered, the darkness wasn't just around them, it moved. Soft lights began to glow along the cave walls, tiny blue orbs drifting like floating fireflies. Then the sound began. A soft humming, like voices singing far away, low and layered, echoing gently through the stone. Zuri whispered, "The cave of echoing songs. Nanny said it sings the memories of the spirits." Tiemu touched the wall. "It feels warm, almost alive." As they walked deeper, the humming turned into clear notes, like a drum keeping time beneath the earth. Thum thum thum. The rhythm called to Zuri. Her footsteps fell perfectly in sync, as if her body recognized the beat. The cave lights brightened around her, forming patterns, spirals, symbols, lines she instinctively understood. Then the music shifted. A voice, soft, familiar, rose through the cave. "Zuri." She froze. Tiemu grabbed her arm. "Please tell me that's not." Zuri whispered, "It's my father." The cave floor lit up under her feet, revealing a glowing symbol. The same one carved on the forest tree. The mark of the four spirits. Zuri stepped onto it. The ground trembled. The singing grew louder. The cave began to open, revealing a passage only the chosen could walk. Zuri inhaled deeply. She was ready. The glowing passage inside the cave of echoing songs sloped downward, deeper and deeper, until the walls tightened around Zuri and Tiemu like the throat of some ancient beast. The air hummed with vibrating energy, music that felt alive. Tiemu whispered, "Do you feel that?" Zuri nodded. "It's the drum's heartbeat." The tunnel suddenly widened into a massive chamber lit by swirling columns of golden light. The floor shimmered like polished stone, etched with four giant symbols: wind, earth, water, light. In the center floated a sphere of pulsing brightness. But they were not alone. From the shadows stepped three towering figures, each cloaked in light, their forms shifting like fire seen through water. They had no faces, only radiant masks shaped like the four elements. Tiemu's mouth dropped. "Zuri, who are they?" Zuri swallowed hard. "The guardians of the hidden light. Nanny told me, they protect the drum's path." The largest guardian raised a hand, and the chamber shuddered. A deep, thunder-like voice echoed. "Child of the echo, why do you walk the path of the lost drum?" Zuri stepped forward, though her knees trembled. "Because the drum called me. Because my father followed it, and vanished. I have to find him." The second guardian's mask glowed blue. "Many seek the drum. Few are worthy. The path demands sacrifice." Zuri clenched her fists. "I'll face whatever it asks." The guardians turned to each other, their lights flickering in debate. Finally the third one, wrapped in swirling wind, spoke, then faced the trial of truth. The floor beneath Zuri lit up. A circle of blazing symbols spun around her, rising like a ring of fire. "Tamusha utet, Zuri." But an invisible force pushed him back. Zuri stood alone in the glowing circle, heart pounding, breath shaking, as the chamber darkened and a single voice whispered in her ear, "Your truth begins now." The chamber fell into complete darkness, so deep that Zuri couldn't see her own hands. Only the circle of symbols beneath her feet glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then, a soft wind circled her. A glowing mist rose, and a figure formed in front of her. Zuri felt her breath stop. It was her father. Not a ghost. Not a memory. A perfect living image. Eyes gentle, smile warm. The same way she remembered him before he disappeared. "Zuri," he whispered, stepping closer. "My brave girl. You found me." Her heart broke open. "Papa. Papa, I've been looking for you." The figure wrapped her in a gentle embrace. She felt warmth, comfort, the safety she had lost years ago. But something felt wrong. His heartbeat. It didn't match hers. It didn't match the drum's rhythm. She pulled back slowly. "Papa, why did you leave?" He smiled. "The drum needed me, Zuri. And now it needs you too. Come with me. Leave this path. We will go home together." Zuri froze. Home. The real drum called her forward. This figure wanted her to turn back. "Papa, what is the truth?" she whispered. The chamber trembled. The guardians watched silently. The figure's warm eyes flickered, just for a second, revealing empty darkness beneath. Zuri stepped away. "You're not him." The false father hissed, voice twisting into something cold. "If you walk forward, you will lose everything." Zuri's jaw tightened. "If I turn back, I already have." The illusion shattered like glass, dissolving into smoke. The darkness lifted. The guardians' masks glowed brighter. "You have spoken your truth," the wind guardian said. "And truth is the first key." The glowing path ahead opened. Zuri breathed hard, but she did not hesitate. She walked forward. Zuri stepped forward into the next chamber, her heart hammering in rhythm with the drumbeat that now echoed through every stone wall. The air was thick, like smoke from a fire that never burned out. Shadows crawled along the floor, twisting into shapes that almost seemed alive. Tiemu followed close behind, his eyes wide. "Zuri, I don't like this. It feels wrong." Zuri swallowed, focusing on the glowing path beneath her feet. "It's the trial. The guardians said I must face it alone." The shadows reacted as if they understood her words. They shifted, forming towering, menacing figures circling her slowly. Every step she took, the figures mirrored, multiplying, creating a forest of darkness. A whisper rose from the shadows, echoing through the chamber. "You cannot pass, you are unworthy." Zuri's pulse raced. She remembered her father's image, the drum calling, the river of spirits guiding her. She clenched her fists. "I am not afraid of the shadows. I follow the drum, not fear." Suddenly, the shadows lunged, attempting to wrap her in darkness. But Zuri stomped on the glowing symbols, and a brilliant light shot upward, pushing the figures back. Each beat of her heart strengthened the glow. "Tamu gasped." "Zuri, you're controlling it." "Yes," she whispered, feeling the drum's rhythm inside her veins. "It's always been inside me." The drum doesn't just call, it chooses. The shadows screamed, twisting violently before dissipating into thin air. The chamber trembled, and the ceiling cracked, revealing a sliver of sky. Above, the guardians' voices echoed, filled with approval. The trial of shadows is complete. You walk the path of the chosen. Zuri looked ahead. Through the fractured ceiling, she saw a faint golden glow. The lost drum awaited her. Her journey was nearly at the brink of its most dangerous moment. The chamber ahead glowed brighter than anything Zuri had ever seen. Gold and silver lights twisted together, forming a radiant orb suspended in midair. Its surface rippled like water, yet every ripple carried a heartbeat, a pulse that seemed to synchronize with Zuri's own. Tamu gasped. Zuri, that must be it, the lost drum. Zuri nodded, her hands trembling. It's more than a drum, it's alive. As she stepped closer, the glowing orb began to change. The drum rose into the air, expanding, stretching, revealing intricate carvings of the four spirits: wind, earth, water, and light. Its surface shimmered, reflecting visions of her father, the river of spirits, and every step of their journey. The guardians appeared beside her, their forms radiant and towering. The wind guardian's voice echoed in her mind. To claim the drum, you must face the final test. It will show you your deepest fear and your greatest desire. Zuri's chest tightened. She could feel the drum's energy brushing against her skin, almost calling to her soul. Suddenly, the chamber dissolved around her. She was standing alone in a dark forest. Her father was trapped inside a cage of shadows, crying for help. A voice boomed from everywhere. Will you save him, or will you turn back? Zuri's hands shook. Her heart ached. I will save him. The shadows swirled violently, trying to stop her. But Zuri reached inside herself, feeling the rhythm of the drum. The wind, the earth, the water, and the light. She struck her hand forward, and the drum's energy exploded in a wave of radiant power. The shadows dissolved instantly. The cage shattered. Her father stepped free, smiling proudly. The drum hovered before Zuri, now calm, pulsating gently like a living heart. It had accepted her. The lost drum was awake. Zuri and Tiemu emerged from the forest as the first stars blinked in the night sky. The lost drum hovered gently beside her, radiating a warm light that illuminated the path back to Kawana village. But something felt wrong. An unease that made the hairs on her arms rise. The wind, it's different, Tiemu whispered, scanning the horizon. Like the forest is warning us. Zuri nodded. We're not just bringing the drum home. Something else is coming. As they approached the village, a shadow stretched across the earth, a dark, swirling mass that moved like smoke with a mind of its own. The villagers froze, staring in horror as the wind picked up, rattling roofs and tearing leaves from trees. Zuri's grandmother appeared from the distance, her staff glowing faintly. The drum has awakened, but so has the darkness that sleeps beyond it. Only its true guardian can protect the village tonight. Zuri gripped the drum. She could feel its heartbeat, strong and steady. I am ready, she said. Tiamu's eyes widened. Ready for what? Before she could answer, the shadow surged forward, its shape forming monstrous, twisting figures that lunged at the huts and the villagers. Panic erupted. The elders tried to calm the children, but the wind carried screams and the smell of dust and fire. Zuri stood tall, lifting the drum. She struck it once, and a wave of golden light blasted outward. Every shadow screeched, recoiling from the glow. She struck again, then again, each beat stronger, faster, synchronized with her heartbeat. The villagers stopped running, watching in awe as the darkness began to break apart. Sparks of light danced in the air, chasing the shadows away. Tamuchered. Zuri, you're doing it. Zuri's eyes shone with determination. The drum isn't just music, it's life itself. And I will protect ours. The village shook as the final confrontation approached. The moment of destiny, the climax, was upon them. The shadows had gathered over Kawana village, thick and relentless. Trees bent, rooftops shook, and the wind screamed like a living beast. Villagers huddled together, eyes wide with fear, as the darkness crept closer. Zuri stepped forward, the lost drum floating before her, glowing brighter than the moon. She could feel its heartbeat merging with hers, stronger, faster, alive. This was the moment she had been preparing for. Every step of the journey leading here. She raised the drum and struck it with both hands. Thump. The ground trembled. Thump. The wind obeyed her, swirling around the village, pushing shadows back. Thump. The drum's light exploded, illuminating every corner, every darkened alley, every frightened face. The shadows shrieked and recoiled, twisting violently before shattering into nothingness. Then, amidst the light, a familiar figure appeared. Her father, emerging from the fragments of darkness. He smiled, relief flooding his face. Zuri, you found me. Zuri ran to him, tears streaming. I told you I would. The drum pulsed again, resonating with life itself. The villagers felt its energy, their fear replaced by awe. Even the trees seemed to straighten, leaves whispering like a song of victory. The guardians' voices echoed around the village. The lost drum has awakened. Its true guardian is revealed. Zuri struck the drum one final time. A golden wave swept across Kawana, healing, illuminating, bringing harmony. Shadows were gone. The village was safe. Tiamu laughed, lifting his hands to the sky. Zuri, you did it. Zuri looked at the drum, at her father, at the glowing village. Her heart swelled. The drum wasn't just an instrument. It was hope, courage, and life itself. And as the wind carried its rhythm through the night, Kawana village pulsed with a new song, eternal and alive. The story had ended, but the drum song would never die.